Hello and a warm welcome to Federal Special Program Capital Beat. An investigation by BBC Hindi has uncovered a major discrepancy in the official death toll from the Mahakumbh stampede, challenging the Uttar Pradesh government's figure of 37 fatalities. Now, according to the BBC's findings released on Tuesday, which was 10th June, at least 82 people died following the incident on 25th January, more than double the official count. Now, it claimed that at least 26 more families were given 5 lakh in cash on the condition that they sign documents attributing the cause of death to sudden illness. Now, what the investigation has done, it has interviewed more than 100 people. The British public broadcaster said its reporters traveled across 11 states and over 50 districts, including Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Karnataka, and Assam, which spans several weeks. It said more than 100 families who lost loved ones during the Mahakumbh were interviewed. Now, only those cases backed by substantial documentation, including death certificates, eyewitness accounts, and hospital records, were included in the list of victims. This is what the BBC report has said. It categorized the 82 deaths into three groups based on the compensation received by the victims' families. According to the BBC, 36 deaths were officially acknowledged by the Uttar Pradesh government, with families receiving 25 lakh as compensation. Now, the state had publicly cited 35 such cases, but the BBC identified one additional case, including that of Arun Kopardekar from Karnataka. So, obviously, since the time this report has become public, political fireworks have gone with the Samajwadi Party, Congress, everyone saying that this is a lie which has been nailed. It shows the callousness of the government. But will this BBC report impact the prospects of Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath? How will this report play out now in the coming days? Joining me now is author, commentator, and senior journalist Sharat Pradhan. Thank you so much, sir, for joining. We have Sunita Aron, author, political commentator, and consulting editor to HT Lucknow. Thank you so much, Sunita ji, for joining. And I'll begin with Sharat Pradhan. Sharat ji, how
Yeah.
do you really see the BBC report on this stampede, the kind of investigation they have done? Has this report really landed Yogi Adityanath in a tight spot?
Well, all credit to BBC. Hats off to them for having carried out such a well-crafted, well-designed, and well-carried out investigation, which is in today's journalism is pretty rare. I'm not at all surprised with the numbers. Like I always maintained in my shows that the numbers were much higher than what the UP government tried to impress upon people and succeeded in doing so. The beauty of the UP government, Yogi Adityanath regime is that they managed to get away with murder. They have done it in the past. When the corona happened, they managed to get testimonials certifying that they had done the best job in the country, best management, COVID management. When everybody could see on videos bodies floating in the rivers, bodies being buried along the banks, river banks, and how people were dying because of want of oxygen. Yet the government managed to get certificate even from WHO stating that UP government had done a fantastic job. So, and today also, when you find this BBC report coming in, you must have seen that till this afternoon, none of the mainstream media has carried even a bit of it anywhere. For them, it is meaningless. They have, somebody has rightly called them Godi media. I have to call them Ghulam media because they believe in carrying out the diktat of the governments in power only in exchange of money. Their priorities are the same. And the UP government, unfortunately, Yogi Adityanath may not tire of proclaiming himself as the ultimate Hindutva icon and doing anything and everything for Hindu religion. But mind you, this was a Hindu gathering, the biggest Hindu gathering. It's all about religion. Kumbh Mela is all about religion. And the haired man sitting on the top executive position of the state has no concern for the deaths of poor ordinary pilgrims and all Hindus. I don't know which Hindutva they follow. Which Hindu religion they follow. It is not callousness. They were fully aware. Let me tell you, a very senior official of the government confided that on the day this happened, which is 29th of January, not 25th, and this on 29th, when UP Chief Minister remained mum until the evening, after hours, 15 hours of this incident, and at least 6 hours after the Prime Minister declared from Delhi that so many people had died, and he talked about Yogi Adityanath did not even care to mention a word about the stampede or the casualties, which shows what his concern. His concern with the Kumbh Mela was only to make political capital out of it, not concerned with the pilgrims or for the people. And then he insisted on maintaining 30, a figure of 30, which, and this, as I said, the very senior official mentioned to me that he, on that day, tried to prevail upon the chief minister that when we are declaring 30, why don't we declare till then? They had a confirmed knowledge of 67, which incidentally, the only media to have given this figure was Bhaskar. They were doing a wonderful job in covering the Kumbh Mela casualties. But the chief minister refused, and you will be shocked to know why. Because he said, how many deaths took place in the stampede that happened in Akhilesh Yazov time? Mind you, that stampede was not in the Mela area. It was outside the Mela area at the railway station, where because of railways mismanagement, the stampede took place. And 37 people had died. So Yogi Adityanath's concern was more about how many casualties had occurred at that time. So because that was 37, eventually he decided to fix his count at 37, so that it doesn't go beyond that. That shows the mindset of the man who is more concerned only about politics. Then he has the cheek to tell others that why are you doing politics with human bodies? Who's doing politics? This clearly shows that. It's a shame.
Right. So, Sunita ji, how do you really see this BBC investigation? And now, I don't know how to put it across, but last week we have seen a stampede in Bangalore where, the Godi channels and the mainstream channels were asking for Siddaramaya's resignation. And they were the ones who were saying that DK Shivkumar and Siddaramaya should step down. Why are these channels not asking for the resignation of Yogi Adityanath or asking some tough questions from the center as well? I mean, these are questions which are bound to come up. And like what Sharadji just said, that none of the channels were questioning. Rather, there were so many channels. I remember we had done programs during the stampede when these channels were so supportive of
Yeah.
Yogi Adityanath. They went to the extent of saying they don't believe in rumors. Now, what are they going to say after this BBC report?
You see, Nilu, there was a time when BBC was heard in every village of UP and perhaps across the country. Then
Yes.
later on, when we started discussing about media and all, so all the foreign media, there was a question mark that was raised on them and their credibility. It's not only that the media has not responded to it, the government has not responded to it, whether UP government or the central government. It's a report which is worth taking note of because it has given details. There is no reason to doubt it, because the way the investigations have been carried out. So at least Prime Minister was the first one to mention about it. Yes, they have not taken note of it, the central government, not neither the UP government has taken note of it. The best they could have done was that they could have ordered at least a probe, at least simply a probe to know what actually happened and taken action against some of the officers who were giving away 5 lakh rupees. The cops, from where did they get the money? How could they be so ruthless, so cruel in distributing 5 lakhs just to tell people that to tell the authorities that they died of some disease or some suffering, other sufferings, and not stampede? So you see, there is a utter silence. Yes, the other media has also not reported it, and why I think Sharath has said it in detail. There's no point again and again and again talking about it. But the point is, even if we, for a second, we say that Yogi Adityanath, although it is very difficult to believe it because he was the person who was supervising the entire every arrangement. He went to Kumbh so many times, so he won't know. I think it'll be wrong to say that. But even if for a second we say that the political boss didn't know about it, and a lot of things were managed at the local level by the cops, by the authorities, why is he not reacting to it? The point is that they went overboard publicizing the success of Kumbh as a very major event which attracted people from across the globe. So they don't want to admit now. You see, whether 30 people died or 67 people died or 100 people died, I think even one death is important for any government machinery or for anybody. So the numbers don't matter to that extent, except for political reasons, as an officer confided in Sharad. But
Right.
otherwise, deaths are deaths, whether 5, 10,
Absolutely.
12, 15. They happened because of some mismanagement. They happened in a stampede, and not just like that. So, but there is a total silence over it. They don't want to believe it. They don't want to act on it. And I think the government would do it. But I think it will be good. Even the opposition. Why talk about the government
No,
machinery
but
or the
Sunita ji,
government
there's
or
another
the
thing. There's another thing that now this BBC report, does it open to a bigger and a wider investigation? Does it call for that? The point is that if BBC
it
can
does.
investigate this, yes.
It does. This is what I'm saying. That at least if you don't want to admit the debts right away, at least order an inquiry, a bigger inquiry to know the facts. And if the BBC has misreported anything, then take BBC to task. But the point is the type of investigations they have done, visiting every
No,
home of
but
the
Sunita ji,
victim.
who's going to order this inquiry now? That's a question. Is
The
the
chief
central
Exactly.
going to
minister.
order?
The chief
Is
minister has to do it. And now for his own face saving, he can do it. Well, otherwise, okay, we all say that he was responsible. He was overlooking the entire arrangements. He was the one who ordered that nothing should be reported about it till Prime Minister, himself, he paid condolences. Till then, the UP government was silent, and if the UP government and the officers were silent, naturally the political boss had wanted so. But point is, who else can order the inquiry in our democratic in our system of governance? Who will order the inquiry? Either the chief minister or the home minister. Now, you don't see even Delhi reacting to it, and we keep on hearing so many stories about the relationship, the bad relationship between Delhi and the UP. This is one case where they should order an inquiry and find out the truth. I think everybody knew the truth. Everybody knew the truth, and everybody wanted to deny it because the reasons for the stampede, if you start doing investigations, then you'll have to look into why stampede happened. And it happened because of too much of VVIP movement and the mismanagement subsequently. So I think they would like to avoid an investigation. They would like to avoid this BBC report because a lot of Ram Bhaks believe what they say and not the BBC. As I said right in the beginning, that there was a time when we used to listen to BBC to know what actually happened, and today people are not listening to foreign media per se.
The point on the inquiry bit, Charaji, what we were talking about, what Sunita also pointed out, that there should be a wider and a bigger investigation. And if the chief minister has to do you think that there is any possibility that Yogi Adityanath, who was trying to cover up the death toll, is he going to order an inquiry to save his skin when it's all very clear
I
that
don't think
people were
he's the
paid up?
last person. He's the last person to do that. Do that because he believes in concealment is his forte. Concealment of truth is his forte, and he has done it more than once. So
No,
I
but
don't think when
given the kind
he
of
knows that.
But Charachi, given the kind of equations which exist between the Lucknow Darbar and the Delhi Darbar, do you think
Uh,
that the Prime Minister or maybe the Home Minister can order a CBI investigation or something like that, or it's not going to happen either from the center?
Because I think their reluctance comes from you're right that there's a major conflict going on, a Cold War going on between Delhi and Lucknow for a long time, and every time there's been speculation that they will find one way or the other to ease him out of this position. But that has never happened because something or the other happens, some event takes place which dissuades the Delhi Darbar from taking any action against Lucknow. In this case, I feel that maybe they are inclined to do that, but at the same time, they are the ones who had taken BBC to task for speaking the truth. They've done all kinds of actions, taken all kinds of actions against this agency, which is known for upholding truth. And today, relying on that report may put them to embarrassment. So I think that must be their practical discomfiture. And that is out of which this arises, this reluctance to take cognizance of the BBC report. As far as Yogi is concerned, there's no way that he's going, because he already knows the truth. And he has all along managed to conceal that truth. So why should he, put his foot into the mouth?
But
Why?
Sharaji, there's another thing. Now, if you have a reluctant state government, you have a reluctant center. In a case like this, where Kumbh was almost like an international affair, there were people from different countries who came across. Can there be an international human rights kind of a watch, on this, on the death figures, or like BBC has already done the job? They've already,
It's a
ex-
foolproof investigation. It's a
yes,
foolproof investigation which does not require any further probe because all the evidence is there. They
yes,
have every guy who's died, they have their picture, they have statements from their family
yes,
members, they have records of the compensation received, they have records of the manner, the way those people have reached their homes. They have records of people who have been denied compensation. They have records of every record of those people who were paid money, 5 lakh rupees in cash, on the condition that they don't attribute their death of their kin to the stampede. And this money was paid underhand. This is not a question of where the police is. The police has not paid from its pocket, obviously, and police has not initiated it. Mind you, the payment could not have been made without a word, a signal from the top, which is the chief minister himself. So they found out a way to to wriggle out of this embarrassment of admitting these deaths. So that is why, and this, of course, this plan must have been of the police, and even the district administration has money which is called secret fund, which is not auditable and which all district magistrates and superintendents of police have. So one guess is that this cash must have been paid out of that. Or it is also possible that the police was allowed to go for extortion and collect just as they take a lot of underhand money, they got money from some private party and do it. But in all probability, it must have been the secret fund, which the government must have enhanced, which is normally what, it could be a secret fund of 10, 20 districts, 30 districts, out of which 5, because cash can be given only out of the secret fund. The rest of the money, and you forgot one interesting thing, Nilu. One of the two out of the 37, which the government officially admitted, 35 were identified not. One was unidentified and one was unclaimed, Lavaris. And who was he? You must have read it in the BBC report. He was the younger brother of the one time very tall BJP RSS leader Govind Acharya. His real younger brother, who was also an RSS pracharak and also general secretary of the BJP. Now, can you imagine? This is the height of callousness. And how can a man completely self-centered to himself, the chief minister, not even bothered? Everybody came to know about it. This BBC report is highlighted, it now brought it in public domain. But Govind Acharya himself, his bite is there. And when he confessed that he went to attend the Tervi of his brother, who was declared Lavaris. So this is how they function. So that all that money Now, any further investigation can, only do something on the surface. The rest of it is already there. Any dignified regime would have said, okay, this is good. We will take the people to task. Then a smaller perfunctory kind of probe and some action. Even you were talking about Karnataka, the Bangalore. There, they suspended the police commissioner of Bangalore,
Yes.
and here, not even a cop. It is just this is shocking, more than shocking. How can you do it? You have seen in Pahalgam also they did the same. The only
Yeah.
guy to be taken to task is the SHO of Pahalgam Thana.
Absolutely. No, but what is going to be the ultimate fallout of this BBC report? Because this is a stark truth. And how long will one resist, himself or herself, from talking on this? And how long will the mainstream channels also continue to keep quiet? Ultimately, these are evidences which are there on paper. It's a truthful documentation. And how long will the mainstream channels also resist from talking on this? So what could be the political fallout? Because Yogi is on the back foot. uh, the nails, I mean, the lies have been nailed. It puts so much of mud on the center as well, because the center is quiet, Yogi is quiet. How is it going to manifest now with the other political parties, except that they have tweeted, they have written on the social media, they have given sound bites, but apart from that, beyond this, what you see happening?
But this was an issue, Nilu, on which the opposition could have embarrassed the government. It
Yes.
was one thing, they should have actually hit the street, and not just tweeting is not enough. They can take the government under pressure, they can pressure the government to order an inquiry, they can move the high court and demand an inquiry. There can be so many things that can be demanded, and they should start with demanding the removal of the chief minister, because as a Hindu leader, here the Hindus have died, and even their deaths have been ignored or not admitted at all. So there is still so much that can be done, but then it has to be the political class of the opposition, of course, the media, the mainstream media, if they do so, and definitely if the matter goes to the High Court, a petition goes to the High Court, then I do see that depending
Some
on the
hope,
bench, but
some hope.
there can be some hope of an inquiry or of an action in that matter. That's the only hope you see
No,
right
but there's
now.
another thing. Now, can the people approach the court now with this BBC report?
That's what
If
I'm saying. They can
yeah,
Yeah,
petition. No, people,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
the victims remain silent. They did not. But somebody, can file a public interest litigation
yes,
and demand
Mm.
action, demand probe. There is some hope there. That's the only way, because international agencies generally are not interfering in matters of other countries,
right,
not the way they used to do earlier, But
right,
now, of
absolutely.
late, we have not seen any such. So I think if there is any hope, it is from the High Court or the Supreme Court, and from the opposition if they decide. It's not just tweeting. I don't understand. This is one issue on which they can actually embarrass the chief minister most. This is a very, very strong issue, but they have also not
No, but
reacted
can
the
this,
way they should have.
yeah, my final question to Sharaji, can this become into an electoral issue, given the fact that 2027 you have UP elections, and they will be talking about, look, we've held a big mega event like Kumbh, but then here comes the BBC report, which is telling the absolute truth about the Kumbh Mela. So
You
can
know,
this
the
electoral
it
issue?
can. It can, but practically, I don't see that happening because our opposition also gets timid when it comes to confronting this regime on anything connected with the Hindu religion. They start to be branded. Their fear is because the problem is that even the opposition lacks conviction. Otherwise, they can easily go to town blasting the government on this and maintain the tempo till the elections. But their reluctance will be the moment they do it, BJP will run a huge campaign branding them as anti-Hindu for raising the issue. You have seen every time Akhilesh Yadav has done this, he is labeled as somebody who is pro-Muslim and anti-Hindu. So they get scared. Which actually this is not a fact. This is a lie. So Akhilesh Yadav has to muster up courage to fight back, and he
Absolutely.
can do it. He can do it. So now let's see. The problem is that, and Congress has no existence in UP. But Rahul Gandhi is the only man in the Congress, the one man army. He is trying to do it, but he should. And if he does that, and Akhilesh Yadav raises it here, this can become an issue for the elections. And they have to impress upon people that this government is anti-Hindu, actually. Then they will
Absolutely.
succeed. They are scared of being labeled as anti-Hindu for no reason.
Right. And I don't
So
know
you
what
need a lot
this
of conviction.
yes, this fear is so baseless as far as the opposition parties are concerned. It's very, very unfortunate.
Absolutely.
It's so unfortunate that because of the vote banks, they will not raise an issue. They do not have to do any research. There is a BBC report which talks about the truth behind the stampede, and if that also cannot be taken up by the opposition, uh, can anything be more unfortunate than this? But yes, will accountability be held? How will the accountability be held? Does the ball now lie in the courts if any petition is filed, as what Sunita said? These are very important questions. And my question to you, to the viewers, is that we want to see the mainstream media raising this issue. Will they do it? Do they have the courage to speak on this? Yesterday, also, I didn't find any primetime channel discussions happening on this, which shows the DNA and the character of the mainstream media. And I don't know what they are balancing it out for, but here is a BBC, an explosive report, which talks about the truth of the stampede, and no one picks it up except for few channels like ours. Thank you so much, Sharaji and Sunita. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you.
Thank you.